Hi everybody, welcome back. Good to be with you all again. So today I wanted to carry on with reading the end of the age scriptures from the list that I made that I showed briefly last week. And I know I've missed Adam at the top, and Sidrak isn't actually underneath Adam, but the arrow points him to under Moses. But and so I started with Abram last time. I'm going to go on to Moses today, and I'll probably work my way through the list as you see it, and do Adam at the end or somewhere closer to the end to show how things even at the beginning were tying up with what with the coming of Christ, of Yeshua. So anyway, yeah. So I haven't read the Revelation of Moses before. Excuse me. But when I went to find it yesterday quickly, I found it on this website, Rejected Scriptures, Weebly. It's got a list here of all rejected scriptures down here, and you can just click on them and read them, which I think is really good, quite interesting. There's loads of them. But anyway, today we're on this one. So basically, here's what it says. It says that it's been almost unknown, nothing in common, has nothing in common with known under that title. Basically, yeah, it's about the story of Adam and Eve, and it seems quite different to the other stuff that Moses has got in the Bible and stuff, so I can see how it can be put into question, really. And where it's got the two versions, like the last video Abraham had, this isn't actually a different version. This version 2, strangely enough, stops pretty quickly and doesn't carry on anymore, and it has nothing to do with the verse next to it. So that verse 1 and that verse 1, not really anything to do with each other. I also noticed that if you listen to the videos I've done on the book Enoch 3, this section seems like it's almost taken out, almost taken out of there. The way it's talking about the angels being 60 myriads of parasangs higher than others and stuff like that. If you listen to the videos, you know what I mean. But yeah, so without further ado, I think this one might be slightly longer than the Book of Abraham, so I won't delay in reading it. So I'll crack on, and as before, I'll read the version on the left. All right. As the apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons. This applies to Moses, upon whom be peace. In that hour when God said to him, "Go and bring out the children of Israel from Egypt, for I have heard their groaning, and I remembered the covenant, and the oath I swore to Abraham, my servant." Moses said, "O Lord of the universe, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?" God said, "Thou hast humbled thyself in saying, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? But I will honour thee, as it is said, He that is of lowly spirit shall obtain honour. And I will give thee the whole of Egypt into thy hands, and I will bring thee up even near to my throne of glory, and I will show thee the angels of heaven." Thereupon God commanded Metatron, the angel of his presence, and said unto him, "Go and bring Moses up the harps and pipes, and drums and dances with joy, and songs and praises." Metatron answered and said, "O Lord of the universe, Moses is not able to come up and see the angels, for there are angels who are of fire, and he is of flesh and blood." God said, "Go and change his flesh into fire." Metatron went to Moses. When Moses beheld Metatron, he trembled with fear, and said to him, "Who art thou?" And he said, "I am Enoch, the son of Jared, thy father's father. The Almighty hath sent me to bring thee up to his throne of glory. Moses said, I am only flesh and blood, and cannot look upon the angels. And Metatron changed Moses' tongue into a tongue of fire, and his eyes made like the wheels of a heavenly chariot, and his power like unto that of the angels, and his tongue like a flame, and brought him up to heaven. 15,000 angels were on the right hand, and 15,000 on the left, Metatron and Moses in the middle. In this way was Moses carried up to heaven. The first heaven to which Moses ascended corresponds to the first day of the week. There he saw the waters standing in lines. This heaven was full of windows, and at each window stood an angel. And Moses asked Metatron, What are these windows? And Metatron answered, These windows are the window of prayer, the window of request, the window of supplication, the window of crying, the window of joy, the window of satiation, the window of famine, the window of poverty, the window of riches, the window of war, the window of peace, the window of pregnancy, the window of birth, the window of the treasures of rain, the window of the Jew, the window of sin, the window of repentance, the window of smallness, the window of greatness, the window of death, the window of life, the window of disease among men, the window of disease among animals, the window of healing, the window of sickness, the window of health. Moses saw great things past finding out, yea, marvellous things without number. Moses ascended then the second heaven, which corresponds to the second day of the week. There he saw an angel whose name is X. I'll just mention it says X for all the angels' names in this for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway. His length is 300 parasangs, and 50 myriads of angels stand before him. They are of fire and water, and their faces are directed towards the Shekinah above. And all sing hymns, saying, Great is the Lord, and highly to be praised. Moses asked Metatron, and said, Who are these? He answered, These are the angels who are placed over the clouds, the wind, and the rain. They go and fulfill the will of their Creator, and return to their places, and praise the Almighty. Moses went up to the third heaven, which corresponds to the third day of the week. There he saw an angel whose name is X. His length is a journey of 500 years. He has 70,000 heads, in each head 70,000 mouths, in each mouth 70,000 tongues, and in each tongue 70,000 dictions. Before him stand 70,000 myriads of angels, all of white fire. They all praise and sing to God and say, Thine, O Lord, is the greatness and power, and the glory, and the victory, and the majesty. For all that is in the heaven and in the earth is thine. Thine is the kingdom, O Lord, and thou art exalted as head above all. Moses asked Metatron, Who are these, and what is their name? And he answered, Their name is Erelim, and they are placed over the grass, and over the trees, and over the fruits, over the corn. And they all go over to fulfill the will of their Creator and return to their places. Moses went up to the fourth heaven. There he saw the temple built, the columns of red fire, the sides of green fire, the thresholds of white fire, the hooks and the planks of blazing fire, the portals of carbuncle, and the halls of sparkling gems. And he saw angels going there, praising and saying, as King David, upon whom may peace rest. They said, Bless the Lord, ye angels of his, ye mighty in strength, that fulfill his word. Moses asked Metatron and said, Who are these angels? And Metatron answered, These are the angels who are placed over the earth, and over the sun, and over the moon, and over the stars, and over the planets, and over the spheres, and ever sing their hymns unto him. And he said, he saw two big stars, each of them as big as the whole earth. The name of one was Noga, and the name of the other was Mardim, one standing above the sun, and the other above the moon. Moses asked Metatron, Why do these stand above those others? And he said, The one stands above the sun in summer in order to cool the world from the heat of the sun. And that is the star Noga. whilst the other stands near the moon in order to warm the world from the cold of the moon. And this is the star Mardim. Interesting. Moses went to the fifth heaven, and he saw there troops of angels, half of fire and half of snow. And the snow is above the fire without extinguishing it, for God makes peace between them, even as it is said, He maketh peace in high places, and all praise the Almighty. And Moses asked Metatron, "What are these doing?" he said. "Since the day when God created them, they are so." Moses asked, "What is their name?" And he answered, "These are the Erelim, who are called Ishim, and it is said unto you, O Ishim, are called." Moses went up to the sixth heaven. There he saw an angel whose length was 500 years' journey, and his name was X. He was holy of hail, and by him stood thousands of myriads of angels, without number, and all sung praises to the one who said, and the world was created. As it is said, the heaven proclaimed the glory of God. And Moses asked Metatron, "Who are these?" And he answered, "These are the Erin Kadashin, the holy watchers." Moses went up to the seventh heaven, and he saw an angel holy of fire, and two angels whose name were X. These were fastened with two chains of red and dark fire, and each of them had the length of 500 parasangs. Excuse me. Moses asked Metatron, "Who are these?" And he answered, "These are wrath and anger, and God created them during the 6 days of creation, that they should fulfill his will." Moses replied, "I am afraid of these angels, and I cannot look on them." Thereupon Metatron embraced Moses, placed him on the bosom, and said, "O Moses, beloved of God, be not frightened, nor dread thou aught." And Moses was immediately calmed. After this, Moses saw another angel, whose countenance was totally different from those of the other angels. He was ugly, and his height was 540 years' journey, and he was girded 40 times around his waist. From the sole of the foot unto the head he was full of fiery eyes, and whosoever looked at him fell down in dread. Moses asked Metatron, "Who is this?" He answered, "This is the angel of death, who takes the souls of men." And he asked him, "Where is he going now?" And Metatron answered, "He goes to take the soul of Job the pious." And Moses said before God, "May it be thy will, O Lord, my God and God of my fathers, that thou shouldest not deliver me into the hands of this angel. Then saw he angels standing before God, each of them having 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, so that they may not look upon the Shekinah. With the other 2 wings they cover their feet, for they have the feet of a calf. And with the other 2 wings they fly and praise God. The length of each wing is 500 years' journey, and the width from one end of the world to the other. And Moses asked, "Who are these?" And Metatron answered, "These are the holy creatures." Our sages tell that the time when Nebuchadnezzar the impious said, "I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High," the Holy Spirit came forth and said, "O impious man, how many are the days of the years of thy life? 70, or even by reason of strength 80 years? And the distance from the earth to heaven alone is 500 years, and the thickness of heaven again is 500 years. From the heaven Rakia unto the Shekinah at the Shehakim 500 years, and the thickness 500 years. And for Shehakim to Zebul again is 500 years, and the thickness is 500 years. And to go from Zebul to Mion 500 years, and its thickness is 500 years. And from Mion to Araboth 500 years, and its thickness 500 years. And the feet of the holy creatures are equal to the whole, and their ankles are equal to the whole. And the wings of the creatures are like the whole, and their necks are like the hole, and their heads are like the hole, and their horns like unto the hole. And upon them is the throne of glory which is equal to the hole. It is like the terrible ice. And there sits a King of kings, and the Holy. Blessed be he, exalted and high. And thou sayest, I will ascend above the heights. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Woe unto thee, O impious man, and woe unto thy soul, for thou shalt be brought down to the uttermost parts of the pit, to the seven regions of hell, to be punished for ever and ever. And after that Moses saw an angel in the heaven called Araboth, that is, the seventh heaven. And this angel was teaching the souls which were created by God at the time of the creation, and have been placed in paradise. The name of the angel was X. He teaches them in 70 languages, in the college on high, and they answer, Thus is the law of Moses given by tradition from Mount Sinai, as it is said. Diana was set, and the books were opened. And Diana is none other than this angel, who is the guardian angel of the law of wisdom. He has also another name. They call him Japhithia, for the name of the guardian angel of the law is Yophiel. From Zohar, our Simeon, son of Johai, said that at that time, when Moses went up to heaven, an angel sat before him and taught him 370 mysteries of the law. Moses then said to God, I will not depart from here unless thou wilt give me good gifts. God answered, Moses, my servant, faithful in my house, I will give thee my law wherein are good gifts, as it is written, for I gave thee a good gift. Therein are also the commandments, positive and negative. And not only this I grant thee, but also that the law shall be recorded in thy name, as it is written. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant. Whence do we know that Moses did actually ascend 7 heavens? We learn it from the verse, and Moses ascended to God, as it is further written. It is further written, God went up amidst to the sounds of trumpets. Moses is therefore called Elohim, like unto his master, for it is said, See, I have made thee as Elohim unto Pharaoh. Therefore it is written, Like an apple tree in the wood is my beloved among the sons. This is Moses, master of the prophets and servant of God. He is like an apple in odour and taste. At that time Bathkol came forth from underneath the throne of glory and said, Moses, my servant, art thou afraid of them? It is written, A wise man scaleth the city of might, and bringeth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Strength means the law, as it is said, God will give strength to his people. God said then to Moses, Moses, my servant, thou camest up here and hast been worthy of the privilege of seeing all my earthly power. Of seeing all with thy earthly power, and I have made thee ascend 7 heavens, and have shown thee my treasures. I have given thee my law. Now thou shalt be worthy of seeing the 2 parks I have created in this world, one for the righteous and one for the sinners. That is paradise and hell. At that hour God sent Gabriel and said unto him, Go with my beloved servant Moses, and show him hell. And Moses said to him, I cannot enter hell, that blazing fire. He said to him, Moses, there is a fire which burns more than all the 7 hells, and yet thou wilt tread on it with thy feet, and it shall not burn thee. At an hour when Moses entered hell, the fire of hell withdrew for 500 parasangs. The master of hell said unto him, Who art thou? He answered, I am the son of Amram. The Lord of hell answered, Not here is thy place. And Moses said, I came to see the powerful works of God, blessed be he. And God said to the Lord of hell, Go and show him how men are in hell. Immediately he went with Moses like a pupil before his master, and entered hell together with him. Moses saw there men tortured by the angels of destruction. Some of the sinners were hanged by their eyelids, some with their ears, some with their hands, others by their tongues, and they all cried bitterly. And he saw women hanging by their hair and by their breasts, and in such like ways all were hanging by chains of fire. And Moses asked the Lord of hell, and said, Why are these hanged by their eyes and by their tongues, and thus so fearfully tortured and so sorely punished? And the master of hell answered, Because they looked with an evil eye at fair women, and at married women, and at the money of their friends and neighbours, and gave false witness against their neighbours. Also saw he in hell men hanging by their sexual organs, and their hands were tied. And he asked, Why do these hang? The Lord answered, Because they committed adultery, and stole, and killed, and murdered. He saw other men hanging by their ears and their tongues, and he asked, Why are these hanging by their ears and tongues? And he answered, Because they neglected the study of the law, and talked slander and vain words and empty words. The women are hanging by their hair and breasts, because they used to uncover their breasts and their hair before the young men that desired them, and came thus to sin. Hell cried then with a bitter and loud voice, and said to the master of hell, Give me the sinners, that I may destroy them. For hell is always hungry, and never satisfied, and crieth always for the sinners to devour them, but have no power over the righteous. Moses went further and saw 2 sinners, hanged by their feet with their heads downwards, and they cried by reason of the torture of hell. And their bodies were covered with black worms, each worm 500 parasangs long. And these sinners cry and lament, saying, Woe unto us for the terrible punishment of hell! Would we could die, but they cannot die. As it is said, they long for death, but it cometh not. Moses asked the master of hell, What acts have these committed? And he answered, These are those who swore falsely, and profaned the Sabbath, and despised the land, and persecuted the orphans, and gave bad names to their neighbours, and bare false witness. Therefore hath God delivered them to these worms, to take vengeance on the sinners. And Moses asked, What is the name of this place? And he answered, Aluka. As it is said, Aluka hath 2 daughters. Moses went then to another place. There the sinners were lying on their faces, and he saw 2,000 scorpions swarming over them, and stinging them, and torturing them. And the sinners cried bitterly. Each scorpion has 70,000 mouths, and each mouth 70,000 stings, and each sting has 70,000 vessels filled with poison and venom. And with these are the sinners imbued, and thus they are tortured. And their eyes are sunk into their sockets for fear and dread, and they cry, Woe to us for our sins, and for the day of judgment. And Moses asked, What have these committed? And he answered, These have wasted the money of others. They have taken bribery, and have elevated themselves above others. They have put their neighbours publicly to shame. They have delivered up their brothers, Israelite, to the Gentile. They denied the oral law, and maintained that God did not create the world. Therefore God has handed them over to the scorpions to be avenged on them. He saw another place there. The sinners stood. Saw another place where the sinners stood up to their knees. The name of that place is Tit Hayaven. Angels of destruction tie them up with chains of iron and lash them with fiery whips. And they take fiery stones and break with them their teeth of the sinners. From morning till evening, and during the night they prolong their teeth again to the length of the parasang, in order to break them anew the next morning. As it is said, Thou hast broken the teeth of the wicked, and the sinners cry, Woe unto us, woe unto us, but nobody takes pity on them. Moses asked the master of hell, What have these committed? He answered, They ate all kinds of forbidden fruit, gave them to the Israelites to eat. They were usurers, and apostates, and blasphemers, and they wrote ineffable name of God for the Gentiles. They had false weights, they stole money, they ate on the fast day of Kippur. For whosoever eats blood, or reptiles, or worms, and does not keep away from them, is punished by being cut off. These are forever punished in hell, and therefore God hath delivered them to the angels of destruction to chastise them. He saw there further how they punished the wicked with fire and snow, and tortured them terribly. The Lord of hell then said to Moses, Come, and see how the wicked are punished in hell with fire. Moses answered, I dread to go. But the Lord of hell answered, Go, and dread not. As it is said, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And Moses stood up to go, and he saw the Shekinah moving before him, so that he should not be in dread of the angels of destruction. Each of these is full of eyes, and have fiery chains in his hands, and his length is 500 years' journey. Moses went and saw how the wicked were punished by fire, being half in fire and half in snow, with worms crawling up and down their bodies, and fiery collar around their necks, and having no rest except on Sabbath days and festival days. All the other days they are tortured in hell. Of these speaks the verse, And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me. For their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched. And Moses asked the angel of hell, What have these committed? And the angel answered, This is the punishment for those who have committed adultery, sodomy, idolatry, and murder, and who have cursed their parents. Therefore have God delivered them to the angels of destruction, to be avenged on them. And Moses asked, What is the name of this place? And he answered, The name is Abaddon. Thereupon Moses went up to heaven and said, May it be thy will, O Lord, my God, and God of my fathers, that thou mayest save me and thy people Israel from this place which I have seen in hell. And God said to Moses, my servant... I ain't woken up properly yet this morning. God said to Moses, Moses, my servant, I have created two parks, paradise and hell. Whosoever committeth evil deeds goeth down to hell, and whoever doth good deeds cometh into paradise. As it is said, I the Lord search the heart, I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doings. Then Moses lifted up his eyes, and behold the angel Gabriel, and he fell down and bowed himself before him. And the angel said, Hast thou seen hell? He answered, Yea. And the angel said, Come then, I will show thee paradise, by the will of God. So Moses went with him to paradise. When they came there, the angel said, Thy time is not yet arrived to leave the world. Moses answered, I came to see the mighty deeds of God, and the reward of the pious in paradise. What is their condition there? The angels began then to praise Moses, and they said, Hail, O Moses, servant of the Lord. Hail, O Moses, born of woman, who has been found worthy to ascend the seven heavens. Hail the nation to whom such belongs. When Moses went into paradise, he saw an angel sitting under the tree of life. Moses asked the angel Gabriel, Who is this angel? And he answered, This is the guardian of paradise, and his name is X. This angel then asked Moses, Who art thou? He answered, I am the son of Amram. He said to him, Why didst thou come hither? And Moses answered, To see the reward of the pious in paradise have I come hither. The angel took Moses by the hand, and they went both together. Moses looked up and saw 70 thrones fixed, one next to the other, all made of precious stones, of emerald, of sapphire, and diamond, and precious pearls. And the foot of each was of gold, and fine gold. Around each throne stood 70 angels. Amongst the thrones was one greater than the others, and the 70 of the ministering angels kept ward over there. Moses inquired of the angel and said, Whose is that throne? He answered, It is the throne of Abraham, the patriarch. Thereupon Moses went immediately up to Abraham. Abraham asked him, Who art thou? He answered, I am the son of Amram. And Abraham asked, Is perchance already thy time come to leave the world? Moses answered, My time is not yet come. But with the permission of God I came to see the reward of the pious. Abraham then said, Praise ye the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Then went Moses to the throne of Isaac, and he spake with in a similar manner. And Moses answered in likewise. Then asked Moses the guardian angel of paradise, What is the length and width of paradise? The angel answered, There is none who could measure it. No angel nor seraph could ever know the length and width of paradise, for it is unlimited and boundless and immeasurable. The angels guard only the thrones, and these are unlike to one another. For some of them are of silver, others of gold, others of bdellium, others of ruby, topaz, and carbuncle, others of emerald, sapphire, and diamond, others of precious stones and pearls, and others of rubies and carbuncles. Moses asked the angel, For whom is the throne of pearls? He answered, It is for the scholars who study the law, day and night for the sake of heaven. And those of precious stones? For the pious men. And those of rubies? For the just. And those of gold? For the men who repent. But the greatest throne is for thy forefather Abraham. For other thrones are for Isaac and Jacob, and for the prophets and righteous, and the holy wise pious men, each after his worth and position, and the good works he hath performed in the world. Moses then said to the angel, For whom is that throne of copper? He answered, For the wicked man, whose son is pious, because through the merits of his son he obtains a portion of heavenly bliss. As thou seest in the case of Terah, who had worshipped all the idols in the world, but through the merits of his son Abraham obtained that throne of copper. As it is said, Thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, thus announcing to Abraham that God would give his father also a place in paradise. Afterwards Moses looked and beheld a spring of living water welling forth from underneath the tree of life, and dividing itself into 4 streams, and it comes from under the thrones of glory. And they encompass the paradise from one end to the other, and under each throne there flow 4 rivers, one of honey, the second of milk, the third of wine, fourth of pure balsam. These are all passed beneath the feet of the just, who are seated upon the thrones. So the video is going to cut out any second now, and I don't really have that much to do. I don't know if you got that or not, but if you did, fantastic.